Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. And this time we're flying DCS. We are doing the Raven 1 campaign. This is mission number 4, SSSC. Um, we, well, I won't be speaking much. I still have COVID-19, or I'm recovering from it. So anyways, with that said, I'm gonna let the video play and yeah, I hope you guys enjoy. Right here, I am pre-configuring the aircraft before we depart for the mission. Um, Quite a lot happens in this mission. In the mission here is basically to go out and scan some boats, check their speeds, make sure that they're safe, and some stuff happens along the way. I'm not going to spoil it, but that's the initial mission. And here I'm just pre-configuring the jet.
Raven check on Pry, Raven 2-1.
Raven 2-2.
Raven check on Ox, Raven 2-1.
Raven 2-2.
2, Go Blue 3 on Com 1.
Raven 2-2.
I'm gonna fast forward a little bit here on this bit, just so that you guys don't have to sit through a terribly long segment. This is 5 times the speed, but I'm just finishing up some final configurations that I personally like to have, and we're gonna go ahead and taxi out here into the catapult. So that's my wingman. He's going to take off first, and then we're gonna join up on the way to waypoint 1, waypoint 2, and then do the mission. Here I'm just doing some final checks in a minute here. Gonna check my control surfaces are good, throttle good, do a final check on my instruments, and depart. Fairly standard case 1 launch. Get launched, brake to the right or to the left depending on where you are. Fly out for a bit and climb to designated altitude. Right now I'm just looking all over for my teammate. I figured he's an AI, so I'll just keep flying and eventually he'll catch up to me. So anyways, right here we are proceeding to the target area, and I'll explain a little bit more in a minute.
Wizard, Raven 2-1 on station, ready for tasking.
Raven 2-1, Wizard, standby.
Raven 2-1.
Raven 2-1, Wizard, freelance mothers 050 to 080, 80 miles out, viewer Waterloo Red. Raven 2-2, freelance mothers 330 to 360, 100 miles out.
Raven 2-1 copies. Freelance Mothers 050 to 080, 80 miles out.
Raven 2-2, roger. Freelance Mothers 360, 100 miles out.
Ravens, good readback. Picture clear.
Raven 2-2, lead. Clear to detach. Freelance your assigned zone.
Raven 2-2.
In case you didn't understand that segment, essentially me, Raven 2-1, in this case, contacts Strike and reports, hey, you know, we're here, and the AWACS is going to go ahead and give us our designated search zones, or our designated operating zones, which are, for me, designated between the headings of 050 and 080 for 80 miles. If you look at my HSI, you're going to see that there's an area enclosed by waypoints. Essentially, that's the area I'm supposed to go to. And my teammate got the other area towards the north for 100 miles out. So we split, he goes to his side, I go to my side. And again, the mission here is to, or for now, a lot more happens in a minute, but for now the mission is to use my radar or T-pod, set the radar for the C mode, find the boats, and report their speeds and bearings to the AWACS. Also to make sure that they're safe, they're not getting like pirated or anything like that. I'm gonna try to speed up a little bit the flight towards the ships, but basically you guys are gonna hear a lot of code words, like for example bull or tabletop. These are just code words to describe the ship.
Wizard, Raven 2-1, mark on top of Bull, 135, speed 10.
Raven 2-1, Wizard, Bull, 135, speed 10.
So right here I'm doing a lot of configurations, not really, but on the radar you see that I'm pushing the range out, I'm minimizing the azimuth.
Top of tabletop 090, speed 10.
Raven 2-2, Wizard, tabletop 090, speed 10.
Alright, sorry about that, I was just waiting for the communications to stop. Basically, I'm finding the ships like this. So right there's another one. You're also going to notice that the radar is set for GMT, that is Golf Mike Tango, GMT, that's ground moving target. Not really optimized for C, but as long as it's moving, it'll work. It'll find it if it's a moving object in the sea. But yeah, in a couple minutes here, I will switch it to C. I don't remember why I put it to GMT. I think maybe I forgot. I accidentally put it on GMT instead of C.
Wizard, Raven 2-1 is marking on top of Matchbox, 255, speed 9.
Raven 2-1, Wizard, Matchbox 255, speed 9.
I figured I'm gonna skip this I'm gonna speed this segment here so that you guys don't have to sit through all of the slow, uneventful flying. But I was just playing with the radar here for a little bit, trying a couple different settings. I just decided I was just gonna leave out interleave. I was having some trouble, as you can see, putting the mark exactly on the ship because so I have a Thrustmaster Warthog, and I'm using like the actual little TDC axis that you would use, um, at least on the A10. Um, but that axis is pretty sensitive for me, so it was moving too fast and I kept missing it. Gonna have to adjust that at some point. But alright, so I think that was the last ship before things start going down, so let's see what happens.
All Ravens, immediate tasking, standby words.
Raven 2-1.
We received a distress call from a British tabletop that's been stopped by fast movers where troops are preparing to come aboard. Raven 2-1, locate the tabletop and report back. Raven 1-1 will provide cover.
Raven 2-1, Wilco. Request location of the tabletop.
Raven 2-1 strike. Tabletop reports their GPS is bent. They're unable to send their position. Wizard's working on it. Stand by.
Raven 2-1. Raven 2-2. Raven 2-1. Saddle.
Raven 2-2. On your P strikes last. I did not copy.
Tabletop's GPS went Tango uniform. Wizard is trying to find them.
Roger. On my way.
Skunk, Rock 00840, Wilco. Weed, proceed directly to Rock 00840. Let me know when you have visual.
Raven 2-2.
Wizard, two bandits took off from Barley, Rock 02484, 1000, track south. Raven 1-1, Wizard, two bandits, Rock 02380, 11,000, new heading 224, form Barcat between Rock 00946 and Rock 34156 cluster.
Raven 1-1 copies. Barcat, Rock 00946 and Rock 34156.
So what we heard here is that they found the ship. The ship is going to be 008 for 40 miles from Rock. Rock is the same thing as Bulls or Bullseye. You saw me select waypoint 6. I checked my knee pad. Waypoint 6 is Rock. So right now I'm basically trying to triangulate the location of the ship because I don't have an exact coordinate to it. I have to find it myself, so I need to triangulate its location. Now, I know that it's at Rock. They just told me that. So I set my waypoint to Rock, and then I set the course selector to 008 from Rock. That's going to give me a vector from Rock that passes directly over the ship. All I have to do is follow that vector, and at the 40-mile mark, that's where the ship should be. So I'm just trying to triangulate it. So I'm flying towards the vector. Just doing some mental math. I can kind of estimate where 40 miles would be, but I'm pretty far out. Right off the bat, I can tell that none of those three pings on the radar are not the target, so I'm not even going to bother looking at those. Those are way too close to me and way too far from the vector. So
Lead 2. Visual on tabletop with 3 fast movers holding 100 yards east.
Roger. Wizard, Raven 2-1. Visual on tabletop. Rock 00840. DIW. 3 armed fast movers holding position 100 meters east.
Raven 2-1, Wizard. Anchor above the tabletop. Contact strike when on station.
2. Anchor at Angels 14. I'm sure Mother will want a running commentary. Take care of that on Blue 3. Go Red 1 on Com 2.
Raven 2-2, roger.
So right there on the HUD, you can see that I'm 13 miles away from rock. I'm pretty close to the vector taking me over the ship. So at this point, I'm going to start making estimations. So what am I going to do? I'm going to take my radar. I'm going to take my
Raven
radar.
2-1 copies. Contacting strike.
Excuse me. I'm going to take my radar. I'm going to push it out to 40 miles. And I'm going to estimate where that ship is. And if I... so you can see that I'm 16.8, 17 miles away from rock, which means that about 20 miles away, 23 miles away, that's where the ship is going to be. So we can kind of see it out there in the distance already, or at least a ship, but it's most likely the ship. So yeah, right around there. So let's push the radar out, and we're gonna see it approximately 20 miles out. So there it is. That's the one. So I'm gonna lock that particular location. That's gonna slave the pod to that location, or the T-pod, sorry, and we can get a closer identification. By the way, you probably noticed that my teammate got there first. Completely irrelevant, because it doesn't give me any information. It just says that, oh, my teammate's there, or he said it. But anyways, we can see that that's the ship, and we're gonna get a closer view here in just a second to see if we can see the smaller ones. So I'm a medium FOV. I could have gone to narrow FOV and it would have given me a clear picture. So I'm recording my voice on the editor, so I can't really, like, the preview screen is really small, so I can't see if the little ships show up or not. But I guess at this point I could see them, at least visually I can see them, kind of. So yeah, once I have confirmation, I'm going to press spacebar to report that I see them. Pretty sure that's them. And that's the enemy island. I have to watch for that. And there we see the smaller ships. I don't know why I didn't switch to IR. I should have switched to IR mode. I had my T-pod in TV. It's a little harder to see things like that.
Strike. Raven 2-1 in flight is on station above tabletop. Rook 00840. Any words?
Raven 2-1 strike. We're in radio contact with the crew at Tabletop. They are DIW, undergoing repairs. Should be able to move out in about 20 mics. Do all you can to keep their deck clean.
Raven 2-1 copies. Recommend show of force.
Raven 2-1 strike. Show of force authorized.
Roger that. Raven 2-2 will take over the radio and will provide you with updates.
Strike copies, Raven 2-2. Keep us posted.
So I'm gonna
Raven 2-2 Wilco.
so I'm gonna try to not fly
Altitude.
directly over them.
Altitude.
So I'm gonna position myself behind the big cargo ship, and I'm gonna pre-flare just to make sure I don't get hit by any heat seekers or anything like that, just in case.
Raven 2-2, 2-1 is in cargo force.
Keeping a close eye on them, making sure they're not gonna fire at me.
Strike. The fast movers are holding position. No joy with the show of force.
Strike copies. Another run authorized with warning shot along their position. Use 20 mic.
Raven 2-2 copies. Another run authorized. Warning shot with 20 mic. Along the position of fast movers, break. Raven 2-1, you want to aim east of the fast movers.
Raven 2-1 copies. Show of force with a warning shot. 20 mic east of the fast movers.
Altitude. 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 Altitude.
Strike. Raven 2-2, 2-1 is off. Good effects. Targets are now on the move. Track north.
Strike copies. Remain on station.
Right here, I'm gonna find them and track them with my T-pod. I'm trying to get a point track. Obviously out of view right now, but I was trying to get a point track so that my T-pod is locked onto them. I don't know why I didn't switch to IR. All I had to do is click the middle button on the top that says TV and switch it to IR.
Strike. Raven 2-2, the fast movers have changed course. Now track east towards Rice.
Would have been way more efficient to just do that. So right now, as you can see, I can't find them because I can't see them. So instead of switching to IR, I don't know why I'm struggling with it. I'm basically going to use my HMD and slave the pod to them directly. There they are. And that's gonna be them right there. And I try again. Obviously, I can't get a point track because there's not enough contrast. So, since there's not enough contrast, it's having a pretty difficult time getting a track. Would have been much easier if I had it on infrared, but I don't know why I didn't do that.
Raven 2-1 strike. Monitor flashlights. Weapons cold.
Strike. Raven 2-1 copies. Monitor. Weapons cold.
So right here they told me to set the weapons to safe. And I set them to safe, but they also told me to monitor the helicopters, and for some reason I was so focused on getting a track on these boats that I didn't I didn't really focus on the helicopters. For a minute, I do eventually look at them, but I'm having such a hard time getting a point track because I'm not using IR, and I honestly do not know why I didn't do that earlier. This is ridiculous. There you go, finally get a track. So now that I was happy with my track, I will now look for the helicopters. So I was over here feeling proud that I finally got the track to pick up the boat, and then watch this. So I'm looking out and I see the helicopter right there, and then I realize, oh crap, I'm supposed to be looking for the helicopters. So I spotted them right there. Yeah, this is just me not paying
Raven
attention.
2-1. Tally flashlights.
I see them, I tally them, and now I'm going to keep a close eye on the helicopters. Basically what they're going to do is they're going to fly towards the cargo ship, and we're going to try a couple things to get them to leave them alone. So let's see how that plays out. I'm going to speed it up a little bit here. So right here I'm going to closely monitor the helicopters. You can see that I'm following them closely as they fly towards the ships, making sure that they're not going to open fire or anything like that, or board the ship or anything. Once again, I'm trying to get the teapot to stare at the boats in the meantime, and then I try to get the teapot to follow the helicopters. I was really trying to get that teapot to look at stuff, but ultimately I set the teapot to stare at the primary ship, and then I'm going to do a show of force by the helicopters to try to get them to turn away.
Going down.
Strike copies. The crew still did not finish the repairs. Raven 2-1, another show of force is authorized.
Raven 2-1. Roger. Show of force.
Altitude. Altitude.
This is Raven 2-2. Flashlights are changing course. Looks like they're withdrawing.
Strike copies, Ravens. Remain on station above tabletop.
Raven 2-2, roger. Strike, Raven 2-2. Tabletop is now on the move.
Roger that. The crew informed us they've finished repairs. Stay with the tabletop until it leaves Waterloo Red.
Strike, Raven 2-2 copies.
Alright, we're gonna go ahead and skip over this bit right here. This is just us making sure that nobody goes back to the ship until it leaves the Waterloo space. once once he successfully leaves the space, the area, we will be doing an RTB. So we're gonna tune into the carrier with TACAN, and we're gonna fly in with ICLS. We're going to go for a case 3 recovery on the carrier. I kind of did a bad approach. Well, not really a bad approach, but the configuration was a bit off. You guys are gonna see when we get there.
Wizard. Tabletop is now out of Waterloo Red and in international waters.
Raven 1-1, strike. State your fuel.
Strike, Raven 1-1, 7-0.
Raven 1-1, remain on station and wait for Red River 1-1 to relieve you. Raven 2-1 in flight, you're cleared RTB.
Raven 1-1 copies.
Strike. Raven 2-1 in flight is RTB.
Flip, Sierra Hotel, I wanted to flip those boats over at the tip of your wing.
It didn't really work. Only bullets did the trick. Okay, switch Marshal and stand by for check-in.
Marshall 403, marking mops 051.60, Angels 14, state 4.5.
403, Warfighter Marshall, Case 3 recovery, CV1 approach, expect final bearing 337, altimeter is 290.790, 403, Marshall Mothers 157, radio 21, DME Angels 6, expected approach time is 33.
403, Marshall on that 157, 21, DME, Angels 6. Expected approach time is 33.
403, brief back correct.
So right there, I already have my TACAN set up and the ICLS. I believe I set up the ICLS, did I? I guess we'll see in a minute. But at least I have the TACAN set up. I also set up the course for the carrier. She reported, I believe, 337 will be the final heading. So that means we're going to approach the carrier on 337. So I set the course selector for 337. First, we're going to fly over the carrier. We're going to maintain our altitude, Angels 14, roughly Angels 12, 14, above 10, Angels 10. So we're going to be above Angels 10. And we're going to go to the holding stack, which should be about 10 miles behind the ship. We're going to basically say established, and then we're going to initiate our descent into the carrier. My altitude levels were a bit off. When you call for an inbound, the carrier usually tells you, hey, you know, hold up the stack at this altitude. And they also tell you the entry time. In my case, it was 3:3. I can't remember if I actually followed that. But we're gonna hold, and we're going to report established, and then commencing, and then we'll do a check-in and a platform, and then they're gonna start guiding us in, basically. So let's see how that plays out.
Bingo. Bingo.
Port 03. Established Angels 12.5. State 2.5.
403. Roger, state 2.4.
Port 03. Commencing. State 2.2. Altimeter 29.80.
403. Radar contact 11 miles. Expect final bearing 337. 403. Switch approach.
Port 03. Port 03. Checking in. 9 miles.
Port 03. Approach. Final bearing 337.
Port 03. Port 03. Platform.
Port 03. Roger. Port 03. Fly bullseye. Port 03. Final radar contact 7 miles.
Port 03.
Port 03. ACLS lock on 6 miles. St. Needles.
Port 03. Down and on.
Port 03. Concur. Fly mode 2.
Altitude. Altitude.
Port 03. Approaching glide path.
Port 03.
03. On bypass. On course. 3/4 of a mile. Call the ball.
You're a little low. You're a little low. You're a little low.
So as you saw, pretty bad approach. I came in way too high. I should have been, when I was at 6 miles, I should have been like 1,200 feet. I was like 3 or 4 times higher than that. Anyways, that's going to mark the end of this video. It's a bit long, but I hope you guys have enjoyed. Please let me know if you like this type of content. And if you want to see more. But yeah, with that said, God bless all of you. Thank you guys so much for watching this, and I will see you again next time. Goodbye.